Hello, and welcome back to If These Old Beasts Could Talk. And today, I have something to show you guys. Well, rather, a couple of things to show you guys. Railroad locks. So to elaborate further on those locks, this is my Penn Central lock right here. It says on the back PCRR. And comes with, which key is it again? This key. Penn Central Railroad. These locks actually have an interesting little feature here I need to get off to the side to show you. If you put the key like that, angle it right in that little slot, and then push, it'll usually land in to the holder. And then from there, this one's my relatively well-oiled lock. You can unlock it. Now, it's a pretty heavy spring lock. I mean, as is typical of locks from this time period and this design. So, I'll push it in. We'll push it to hold it right here, push it to the side lightly, and it'll angle right into the hole. I just discovered this recently. I'm not even sure many people know this about these locks. It's a quirky little feature of that cover. I actually have another lock here. This is a Grand Trunk Western lock, GTW, and it comes with a shackle. Now, the shackle has many purposes. Most notably, it's to prevent it from being lost. Because, you know, sometimes people leave these things unlocked on the side of things, for example, like signal boxes, and sometimes those locks fall off and get taken away. The GTW lock does have a key, and it's a little different than the Penn Central key in that it's a little more streamlined. Thing is, though, the lock is a real pain to operate, so I'm just going to show you the photo of it with the key in it there. Next lock I have is a little bit of an oddity. It's like a regular padlock. The key, though, does say C and H, so people run a pretty good assumption that it is off the Calumet and Hecla Railroad of northern Michigan, up in the UP. It worked copper mines. It was actually built for copper mining. So it hauled ore to places where it was refined, hauled bars away, and did all sorts of other things involving the copper industry. This is kind of like a key that goes in your house. This is more of a traditional padlock as opposed to like a fancy railroad lock. It's effectively higher security too. I wonder if these were in use. They were in use at the same time as those other locks. So, yeah, see, this is like a typical padlock. I believe it's XCLR branded. The lock doesn't say anything, but I have seen Calumet and Hecla locks that actually do say C&H surface as opposed to C&H underground, which would be the copper mining industry underground, trolleys, and locks for the mines. And now this lock is where things start to get hairy. This is a Rayco screw lock with a triangle nut. And I say things get hairy because these are actually still in use on American railroads to this day. Despite needing a really fancy old brass key, kind of unlike, but not really unlike these brass keys for the GTW and Penn Central, this lock can still be found on switches, and well, not switches, signal boxes and wayside railroad crossing boxes. And I've actually been told, though, at least by somebody I know who's associated with railroads, that these are actually considered antiques more than the Penn Central signal lock I have down there, despite me never actually seeing one of those locks in service. Apparently, though, they are used in yards near the Chicago area, and therefore are still considered not antiques because they are still being used by railroads such as Class 1s and passenger railroads to this day. The rule of thumb with these locks, I'd say, is just know that if you have them on your person on a rail grade, you're going to have suspicion pinned on you simply because of their nature. So remember, always use common sense. Don't take anything you know is going to evoke any sort of problems with you onto a rail grade, i.e. keys or locking devices that are similar to those still in use. And remember, never trespass on a rail grade, ever. Even if tracks look abandoned, they 100% could be not abandoned at all. Trains are very quiet, trust me. There have been times where trains have snuck up on me while I was sitting at a railroad crossing near rail grades. 6-axle locomotives in particular can be pretty quiet. But yeah, that should only serve as more warning. Do not trespass on rail grades. And if you and you had those keys in your pocket, I can 100% see a railroad going after you for potentially being a terrorism suspect. Well, aside from that little bit of an announcement, I hope you enjoyed the video. And I hope you like and subscribe if you did enjoy it. And if you didn't, that's okay too. Please leave criticism, comments, feedback. I'll read up on any of it, and most of the time I'll respond, unless I am really, really, really busy at the time. Which that kind of happens, but then again, that always happens. We're humans, it's life. Well, catch you later.